I am Mike Severns, and this is the Hungry Realtor Podcast. And welcome back to another episode of the Hungry Realtor Podcast with me, Mike Severns, at Hungry Realtor. Please make sure to like, subscribe, and follow for all the updates. Today, I have a great guest. Her name is Miranda Forte. Miranda, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mike.
So, Miranda, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So my name is Miranda Forte. I'm an interior designer and an investor. And I actually started out as a teacher, and I still am.
Nice.
So I'm juggling a couple little things right now, but I do really love the idea of designing and how it relates to real estate. It really is. It's so important to understand what people are looking for when you're out there and you're in this market, especially, and be able to really work with a budget and try to make the house look amazing at the same time as keeping a budget. It's not that easy to do, and also we're working with rentals. So it's a little bit different when you're working with a rental. You don't need to put as much money into it when you're flipping it. But yeah, it's an awesome career. I really love it.
Nice. I'm glad to hear that. It's funny. A lot of teachers go into real estate. I think it's because of the free time. You have a lot of the summers off, right? You have the weekends free. So you can do a little projects here and there. Is that why you got into it?
No.
Okay.
I wish that was the case, Mike, but unfortunately it's not. Teachers, myself anyway, I don't necessarily have a ton of time in the summer because I actually also work, and I was running my own interior business as well. So I have clients outside of real estate, but real estate has always been a passion for me. And since I bought my first condo and lived in it, I took about 5 years to fix it up a little bit, and with a budget, of course. And now it's one of my most profitable real estate rentals.
That's great. And I have to admit that I'm a little stunad when it comes to what interior design is. I'm not a stylish guy. I don't know what the trends are. And tell my listeners a little bit about what an interior designer does and what they're for, what certifications, if any, what education do you have, that kind of thing.
Technically, you don't have to have a degree to be an interior designer. Yeah, I do, but I didn't always. It really is something that I feel like it's either you got it or you don't. I've been staging and redecorating rooms since I was 12. It's just always been something that kind of came naturally to me. And when I did go back to school for it, it really just added to what I can do. It just gave me the ability to really see it in a deeper way, as far as, because at the beginning of everything, I was just picking out colors for friends. I was picking out textures and furniture and things, but I wasn't really into it like I am now. Now I'm actually working with contractors, and it's really an amazing thing to see basically a blank canvas or a terrible canvas come alive and just become this beautiful space. But yeah, it's definitely not something that you have to go to school for, but it's really helpful when you go back and you are able to see structurally how things are done. It's like being a teacher. I teach second grade. Somebody who is a contractor wouldn't be able to come in and teach second grade. They just don't know how to do that. It's like something that's alien to them. And a lot of people struggle with color and combining different textures, and they just don't know what to do. So that's where I come in. And as far as that goes, when a client hires me, but it's not necessarily real estate related, when a client hires me to redo a space in their home, I always ask that they hire me before they hire the contractor. This way we can work one with the contractor. We don't have to go back and backtrack. It's just a better flow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what motivated you to start your own interior design business.
So as a teacher in New Jersey, unfortunately, teachers don't make a ton of money. We're not really in it for the money. That's pretty much what it is. And summers were just tutoring, and they were odd jobs I was trying to make just to be able to pay the bills. And I loved interior design. So it was one of the things where I was like, you know what? My friends are asking me to do this. My family's asking me, I should be getting paid for this.
Yeah, right.
So that's when I decided I would go back to school and really be authenticated, get a certificate, and understand it in a deeper way. And it really has just transpired into one of my favorite things. I love it. And not only do I love doing it, I love helping people. And I really enjoy walking into a home and they're just like, what do we do? And just being able to give them an idea as far as like, I use SketchUp, I can use different apps, and constantly making virtual stages, like design boards. And it's such a great feeling to see them, their eyes get big. They're like, wow, our house could look like that. Yeah. You could. And it's crazy because it's not necessarily something that you have to spend a ton of money on unless you're pulling walls down.
Mhm.
A contractor gets involved, we're going to get a little costly, but I can walk into a space and if somebody's got $1,000 budget, I can help them. I can actually help them. Even just walking in and they have a $500 budget, I can help them move furniture, get a couple accessories. Like paint changes everything. Like literally everything. Paint and floors. That's what I always say. Paint and floors.
What are some of the biggest challenges you faced early on when you were starting your business, and how did you overcome them?
Oh, wow. There have been a few challenges. There have been a few challenges. For the most part, it's really, again, when going back to school and learning that there are tons of different types of styles. And not everybody's going to have my style, and
Right.
that's totally okay. I think that was a little scary walking into a super modern home down at the beach, and they trusted me with their home, and it ended up being absolutely gorgeous. This was a couple years ago, and I remember just being like, "Wow, like this is not something that I would pick for myself, but I understand that they love this style, and I'm going to be able to do that for them." And it really just made me broaden my horizons a little bit, but it was definitely a little scary when it's also scary walking in and as a new interior designer at the time, it was like, how do I organize myself? That was a huge thing. And I'm still working on that. It's every day I'm learning something new about how to organize this business to make it a better flow for me and my client.
That's great. And speaking of lessons you've learned, like about running your business, is there something that you wish you knew when you started that you learned on the way?
Oh my gosh. Lots of things. Actually, I think it was probably the apps that are available. I just purchased a few different ones for reels. Is super important. This like Facebook and all that stuff is and social media is huge. I've gotten a lot of leads and a lot of clients from social media. And at the beginning, I didn't really post that much. It was more word of mouth. And looking back now, I think if I had had all those applications and the ability to use all of the different software and really post everything and get marketing out there, I think I would have probably made a lot I have had made a lot more money and probably gotten a lot more clients.
Well, Miranda, why not let people know where they can find you on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. So I am actually it's Instagram is Labella Vita or Labella Vita Design _ and Facebook is Labella Vita.
Great. And you have a
Yeah.
TikTok too, right?
I do have a TikTok. I do have a TikTok. Yes, actually. Let me just get that for you real quick because I didn't write that down.
No, it's
It's a lot of fun too. I do love TikTok. Let's see. It's Labella Vita um at Design Chick for Life.
all right. Awesome. I'll make
Yeah.
sure to put that in and then let everybody know where they can see some of your great designs. Besides social media, what other technologies you said there's apps and things that you use?
Well, yeah, actually it's called SketchUp.
Okay.
Software that you put on your computer, and it basically what it does is it allows you to you take the measurements of your client's space, whatever it might be. It could even be their entire home. And you take it and you put it on your computer. You have to fill it's a lot of technological stuff, which I'm not really techie. And that's I think why I was so
Interesting.
afraid of it. But once you get used to it, it's amazing and it helps so much. So I can actually take my computer and do my clients down with them, show them their space and maneuver things inside the application so they can actually see what it would look like when it's done.
Oh, wow.
It's
So walk me
awesome.
through that. So,
Yeah.
what is your approach for creating a design concept for a new project, like step by step?
So the first thing that I do is I always go to the house, of course, or the space, whether it's a office or I do also commercial clients, and I just get a feel for it. That's the first step. I take a lot of notes. When I come back, I type up the notes. It's easier for me to just have. Every client has a binder, basically, and inside of that binder is a list of all the things that they want. So the most important thing is getting to know your client.
Okay.
What you need, what's going to make this space look beautiful and functional? Because that's great if it looks gorgeous, but if it's not working for them and their lifestyle, then it doesn't make sense. And so that's the first step. Then I usually generate some kind of a design board, whether it's actual materials, if they would rather have that, or usually they're really cool with just me doing the virtual. I get a lot of ideas online. This is huge. But really, like magazines, I'm constantly reading literature and updates on new designs and because they're changing daily. it's really important to be up on that. Which
So
is
how do you stay updated on the design trends?
yeah. So I am actually a little old school when it comes to that. I do research a ton online. Pinterest is big. A lot of things are hot on Pinterest and I can see the updates of styles. Believe it or not, I love magazines. Like
Oh, wow.
I think I subscribe to about 4 different design magazines and I'm old school like that. I like to make notes. I like to tab things. Yeah, it's one of those things. And when I see something that I love, it's in my head. Like right now, I'm all about the black and white marble tile floors. Like that, it's wainscoting, it just different types of architectural accents in your home. If you look behind me, you can see I have board and batten everywhere in my house. This is my home, but I have board and batten in my home because I was looking at it and I'm like, this is like a blank space. The color is beautiful. I love it, but there needs to be something else, like substance. And not everybody understands.
Mhm.
So I'll go into a home and be like, we don't know what we want to put here. I'm like, don't put anything there. Let's just add some architectural accents with wood piece, paneling, wainscoting, shiplap, like different things like that, like really add a lot of character to your home without, like a lot of people just want to hang something there or put a piece of furniture there. It's not necessarily what you need to do.
I like when I go into a bedroom, I see a lot of homes being a real estate agent and they have the shiplap behind the headboard.
We have that here too.
Nice.
We actually have this stuff, but it goes all the way to the ceiling. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
And it's another way of putting something in the space so that the negative space isn't so negative. Okay to have negative space sometimes. And I think that people get confused with that. Like I know my clients that just don't know what to do. They end up putting lots of random things and it ends up looking super messy and not
Mhm.
necessarily like it should be what they love, but it shouldn't be like everything that they love on one wall. And
Yeah.
they just don't understand that. So that's where I come in and then I'm able to show them like how you can use, you know, your stuff and make it beautiful, but it's not going to be super cluttered and busy.
So I run into a lot of homeowners that are looking to sell, and
Yeah.
sometimes their opinion of the value of their home is not what the actual value is. Like they think they have sentimental value, right? So how do you
Exactly.
deal with a homeowner who has expectations that may
Yeah.
not be aligned with their budget?
It's tricky. It's a sensitive topic because that's their baby. They put money into it. At some point they put money into it. They put memories into it. And I think going in and having them understand, like especially like showing them like visual boards, like this is what you have right now and you're going to get this much money for it. And I know that's hard for you to believe, but it's true in this market. Blame the market. That's what I do. I blame the market. And it's true. That's a reality. People want gold. They don't want silver. They want gold. And especially if you're flipping. And in this market right now, because the houses are going for so much, like you really can't splurge. Kitchen and bathrooms need to look expensive. They don't necessarily have to be expensive because you can actually do that on a budget, but they need to look expensive. And I think it's an interesting question because I've actually run into that before. I've helped people sell their homes with staging. And it was before I was doing like working with contractors and stuff. And they really thought it was so much more than it was. And I think at the end of the day, they finally got that concept. They understood. But again, like it was just painting, some new floors, some new tile, less things. I always recommend when a client is trying to sell their home and I'm helping them do that, I always say, take personal things off the wall, like lots of family pictures and stuff like that. Just place large pictures and things that are more neutral so that the people that are looking at these homes can see themselves in here. They're not competing with your family. And I
Makes a
know
lot of
that's
sense.
hard for some people to do because that's their home, but what you're trying to do is sell and make the most, make the most money so you can go make memories somewhere else.
Speaking of homeowners and helping them out, what advice do you have for homeowners to make for a smooth and successful project? Is there anything they should do before they start? What can they do while that's going on to make sure
Well,
that everything goes well?
you mean like you hire an interior designer?
Yes.
Yeah. So if I've, if I'm hiring an interior designer, which I actually did about 20 years ago, I hired somebody that would work with me, that would understand my wants and my desires and what I wanted in my home and how I wanted it to be functional and beautiful. There are some people that have a very strong opinion. In my line of work, it's if you're happy, I'm happy. So there are some times where I have to meet in the middle with somebody and be like, all right, I'm not sure if I would do that, but if you really want that, we'll make it work. So somebody that can definitely hire somebody that can understand your wants and not necessarily compete with you, but work with you.
Okay.
And then I would also say hire the designer first. And I know I said that before, but hire the designer first, because what happens when you hire the contractor first, if you're doing a big project, is the contractor also has ideas. And that's great. That's what they do. But when you're working with an interior designer who's knowledgeable on different materials, colors, different types of like treatment, whatever it is, you don't want to have to backtrack. So if you hire the contractor first and he's, oh, let's do a board and batten wall here. And the designer comes in and says, I would do a wallpaper wall there. I would do this really cool wallpaper there instead. You're saving some money by doing that as well, because you don't want to have to go back and fix things.
Right.
Um,
Or even if you suggest something that's more expensive, now you're throwing the budget all out of whack. Right?
Literally.
Like,
And they
if,
want, and then it's, oh, wait, but yeah,
right. If you pick a tile and they weren't going to do tile, they were going to do something else.
exactly. It's
Now I
just
see it
better.
on HGTV a lot. You watch a lot of HGTV?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm always watching that for sure. Yes. Lots of ideas there, Mike.
So speaking of contractors, I know that you advise on flips as well, and you and Damon do flips together.
With my
t-
we have a company called Fair Trade Investment.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. We're having so much fun and we're learning so much. It's a very big real estate world out there. And it's extremely difficult right now to purchase properties when you're trying to flip or when you're trying to, get rental properties where you're going to have passive income coming in, because everything is so expensive. So we're looking every weekend. We're looking every day. My mother-in-law is a real estate agent. My father-in-law is the numbers. My husband does the numbers as well. And I'm the interior designer. So I am definitely like on the page with them. We're looking at houses and I'm like, I think this house we could do something with this. And my input really doesn't come in until like after the house is purchased, mostly. That's their job kind of thing. But I do love it. I love it so much. And I have a couple of guys that I work with, which is great. And they're awesome. And we have them going out, giving us ideas and estimates and stuff like that. And so we definitely have something really good going. It's just really difficult right now in this market. But I recommend don't give up. Don't give up. Keep looking, because you can find diamonds in the rough. And I think that I really want to look for more condos. Like I said before, I own a condo and that is our highest grossing profit right now.
Nice.
And I bought it back in 2014. I put 20,000 into it and it's doing awesome. And it's a great location. So for me, it's really that location. Even if you find a 1-bedroom, 1-bath condo for $120,000, $150,000, you can make a lot of money on it with not a lot into it, because it's a small space.
Right.
The space, the more you're going to spend. That's common sense. But yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. We're having a blast. We really are. And my husband and I, when we met, that was one of the things on our first date, actually, we talked about that we wanted to be in real estate and we wanted to be investors. And with his mom and dad being so amazing and jumping in with us, like we really have a great team going on. So it's exciting.
That is exciting. I'm so happy for Damon and you and
Thank
Betty
you.
and Chuck. You guys are a great family and you guys deserve all the success that you
Thank
get.
you.
So talk to me a little bit about the differences between working for a homeowner and working with the team to do these flips.
Oh, there's a lot. I actually have 2 different binders, ideas, like paperwork for this, paperwork for that. But at the end of the day, it's the same type of concept. You're trying to make a home or a space look beautiful, whether it's a condo, whether it's whatever it is that we're working on as a team. You're trying to make it beautiful and you're trying to sell it to make the most money. So the less money you have to put in, the more money you get, right? Or the more money you keep, I should say. As an interior designer for a client, I am working with their budget. And we have a Fair Trade Investment always has a budget as well. After we get our estimates, we understand this is how much money we have to spend on floors. This is how much money we have to spend on paint. This is how much money we have to spend on appliances. And when I'm working with clients, that's the same type of thing. You're still working with that, but a little bit different. That's their home. That's where they're living. So again, there's that like sentimental value that goes with that. So you got to be, it's definitely a fine line, but it's not one that can't be done. It's one of those things when you just have to be conscious of what your clients really want. And then when you're working with a team and this is your team agreeing on, okay, here's our options. I'm all about number 3. So get 3 estimates for everything. Like I look even if it's appliances, I'm constantly getting appliance. How much for this package? How much for that package? Because you can save 1,000 here and there, and then put that towards something else when you're flipping a house, or even if it's going to be a rental property. Rental properties and flips are very different, and I think I said that before, but it's a different world, because you want to put materials in a rental that are durable and beautiful, but not necessarily super expensive. And because people are going to be living in that, when it's a different dynamic. And then, but when you're flipping, you're trying to get the most money for that house. So like I said, bathrooms and kitchens sell. Paint and flooring, it can change everything. And there have been a few times where I've said, let's put this on the wall. Let's put that on the wall. And we've all talked about it. And it's not worth the money. Let's not do that. Okay. We'll back it up. And so it just becomes like a team. It's a team effort.
That's great. Can you share a success story of a flip project where your design significantly contributed to the property's value?
Absolutely. So one of the flips that we did was in, not Magnolia, it was another town. I always forget the name of this town. I can never remember. Not Glassboro. Magnolia. I think it was Magnolia. It was right near there. And it was the cutest Cape Cod. My mother-in-law saw it online. This is like in 2021, I think. It was at the end of 2020. We saw it and I was like, we have to go see this. We have to go see this house. And she was all about it. So we both love like that. We have this very similar style. So it's really fun to work with her because she loves style and design too. So we were like, we're going to go see this. We literally went and we were like, we have to buy this house. And we ended up getting it for $103,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And this was it was right before the height of the market. So it was a blue collar area. It's not like Marlton or like a really great area, but it was a nice area. And so we ended up getting it for 103. We put about 90 to 100,000 into it, but we ended up selling it for 275.
Oh, wow.
Something like that.
Yeah,
So it was and it was our first one as a team. So that was like awesome. Yeah. We were super excited about that. And it ended up being like so cool. It's actually, if anybody wants to check it out, it's on my TikTok.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So now, other than business, you have all these things going on, right? You have the job teaching, you have the interior design, you're doing the flips, you're doing the holds.
Yeah.
How does that impact your work-life balance?
Great question. It's busy. We're busy and we have 2 teenagers. So we are busy, but you know what? I wouldn't trade it for the world. I enjoy all of this. I enjoy teaching still. I really love design. I think that I'm in 20 years now for teaching. So I think that's like working its way towards the retirement area eventually, and then I'll just do anything, but it's fun. We love it and we're having a great time. And honestly, at the end of the day, Mike, it ends up being like, it just makes our life more full. So yes, we're busy and it's hard to juggle sometimes, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
So I'm glad it's such a positive message. Sometimes I do a lot in real estate, sell a lot of homes. I have 3 kids myself. Has that ever happened to you where you get burnt out? And if so, like, how do you deal with it?
Yes. I think it's really important when you have a lot of things you're juggling for anybody, even people that are doing different kinds of jobs, whatever it is. But when you have a lot going on, you have to take time for yourself. You have to do weekends away or a day away or a spa day, or you have to give yourself a little bit of like me time, because if not, you're going to burn out and it's not going to be pretty.
No, it's funny you mentioned that. My wife got me a gift that was this company called Halcyon Floats, and they put you in a chamber in salt water, and you like float, and you're like weightless, and it's completely dark. That was the weirdest thing I ever did. But you got to stay in there for a whole hour. I think I lasted like 35 minutes.
Yeah,
it was just too weird.
Oh my God, relaxing.
Yeah, but I was afraid I was going to fall asleep and drown. That's what I kept thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm glad that you have a way, you take some time for yourself, and this way,
For it. It's so important.
You don't let it get to you. How do you manage, those things that stress you out? Like, how do you prioritize tasks and manage stress during these high pressure projects when deadlines are imminent?
Yeah, you have, for me, I have a personality I'm a little ADHD. Right.
Okay.
So I can do a couple of things at the same time, but I'm hyper focusing. Right. So I have figured out a way to manage that. I have strategies for that. And basically what it is, it's my planner. I have a planner that's like this thick, and every day there's some I have to do and I follow the steps and it's amazing. But when you have a lot going on in your life, and this is just like something that I've been doing for about 10 years now with all of this going on and lots of things happening at the same time, is writing everything down.
Mm.
When I am stressed and I'm like, all right, this project needs this and this, I write it down. And then as it's done, I check it off. And there's something about that, like that calms me down. And there's so much in your head. And when it's just there and it's not written down or it's not out, it's more stressful.
Yeah. So you're visualizing it to get it
Yeah.
from being
Yeah. Writing
like
it down in a
assessment.
journal, writing it down on your planner, like knowing like, all right, today I gotta do this, like checking off when it's done, like huge help for that anxiety. Definitely.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you mentioned hyperfocus because I use it as a superpower. So I have hyperfocus and time blindness, and I
Yeah.
can sit and do something for 10 hours and I'm dialed in and nothing else happens. If it's the wrong thing, then
Right.
obviously that doesn't help. But
Yeah.
like you said, the lists, checklists, and things, they help keep me on track as well. So I'm glad someone else is out there using it.
Yeah. And then another thing that's cool about I have 3 clients right now, and one of them started I think it was like in September, and it's finishing up now, right? So as a designer, you're really involved in the beginning stages. But once you pick the floors and the paint and the texture, everything that you do for the client, it's done, it's ordered, and it's on its way. The contractor kind of takes over. So they definitely call, they talk, they ask for questions, they ask for updates, they ask me for advice. But the big project is pretty much done because I've already worked with the client. I've already purchased everything that they need. Now it's time for the contractors to work. So I'm not really involved the entire process. I'm there for help. I'm there for guidance and everything. But so then I can take on another project.
Okay, great.
You know what I'm saying? So it's
Yes.
like I can have 3 projects going on because of that. But if I wasn't like writing all of this down, like this project needs this done by this date. This project needs this done by this date. This has to be chosen, like whatever. I would be really anxious.
So
So
you're not like over the contractor's shoulder making sure that he's doing it.
no, definitely not. And it's one of those things where I'm so lucky right now because I have such amazing clients that they have the ability to be there with the contractor as
Mhm.
well. And after we've already addressed everything that they want, they are really great about texting me, calling me, being like, "Hey, we have these 3 options. Which one do you like?"
Oh,
It's one of
wow.
those things. So I'm lucky. I'm really blessed. Yeah.
Yes.
And then I've had other ones that I'm like all involved and they don't want to choose anything. It's just me. And that's great too. So yeah, there's a blend.
So it sounds like you really enjoy this.
I
So
do.
what advice can you offer someone else who has the same appreciation for design, so how to get into this business?
I would say don't be afraid. I was really afraid and a really good friend who pushed me towards it. She was at my house, at my condo actually. And she was like, you need to do this for a living. You need to do this. You need to make money doing this because you're really good at it. And I look back at that day and I was like, oh my gosh, really? And now I'm like, what would I like? How did I not know that? So I was scared. I was nervous. I was like, I'm a teacher. I have this going on. I'm tutoring every day. Like it was too much. And finally I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And I started my business. I got my LLC. I went back to school and it was a lot, but it was worth every minute, every stress, everything. Um, and now I'm doing something that I love and then I'm doing something to help people. So it's a really rewarding job. It's a really rewarding job. And don't be afraid of, I think too, like I always have opinions on things and I'm like, are they going to like that? Are they not going to? I'm still learning to not be, just let it out and be like, listen, it's okay if you don't like it. And I think that's one of the main things too, as a designer, like you walk in, you're like, listen, I'm going to be upfront with you. If you don't like this, that's okay. I want you to be happy. So if you like something and I'm like, why don't we look at this? And you're like, nah, sure. If I like that, that's okay. It's really all about having like communication is key. So understanding your client again, what they want, what's going to make their home functional, what's going to make it beautiful. And at the end of the day, are they happy? That's the most important thing. So my tagline is, if you're happy, I'm happy, because that's the reality of it.
So I'm going to pick apart a couple things there. So I'm hearing that um, don't make sure you have a good mindset. Don't be afraid. Believe in yourself. That's an
Yeah.
awesome message. And
Yeah.
then also have a thick skin
Yeah.
because sometimes everybody's not going everything you like.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
it's not
Yeah.
about you. It's
Start
about your
really
customer.
okay. We're learning, always learning from. So it's always it's important to be able to do that.
Awesome. the name of the show is at Hungry Realtor Podcast. So there is a food element to this as well. And I know food is a big part of your life. You guys do
Yes.
Sunday dinner
Oh, yeah.
every week. Tell me about Betty's Sunday dinner
Oh my
and
goodness.
what are
Oh
some of the
gosh.
favorite
Well,
dishes there?
it's that is an adventure in itself, Mike. Like every Sunday, somebody, either one of the brothers, or this brother or the sister, or myself and Damon are cooking. Mom and dad are cooking. Somebody's got a dinner going on at 5 o'clock, and we're all running over there to eat. It's the best. It really is just the best. It's such a time of fellowship and just getting together, and we all just love it. And I think I came from a family that we were always together and eating and doing stuff like that. But this is just, the Italian families are just a completely different ballgame. Like it's just a whole different thing. And I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like I fit right in.
It's funny you say that because I'm not Italian,
Okay.
but I grew up and I went to high school in South Philadelphia. My high school was actually right near the Pizza Shack. That's the pizza shop.
Yeah.
So I probably broke his balls or something, going in there for slices, once or
I'm
twice.
sure.
And when I found when Betty and Chuck and I all found each other at Manja in Bala Cynwyd, it brought me back to my friendships that I built in high school and the families that would invite me over
Right.
for dinners and things. And I always say that I'm not Italian, but my stomach is. So I get along, and I love the idea. And something my dad had always preached to us was, no matter what, you're home at 5 o'clock because that's when we're having dinner.
Right. Sundays for family.
Do you guys go out at all to eat? If you have
I
time
know,
for
we
that?
do.
Like, where
We actually go out a lot in Medford. There's a place
nice.
in Medford on Main Street called ITA. It is unbelievable. And the chef there, I don't think he's Italian either, but it's all Italian food and it's
Interesting.
unbelievable. Like delicious. Their bread is delicious. They got me making bread. I'm like, I make bread, homemade bread now. I get laughed at because I'm making homemade bread and butter.
Oh,
My
that's awesome.
mother-in-law was like, go buy it. And I can make it. It's so good when you make it. But yeah, I'm a foodie for sure. And Damon and we're in Philly a little bit, not as much as we used to be, but we're foodies. We're definitely
Nice.
foodies. We love to try new food. I'm always cooking, always in the kitchen. It's definitely part of our life for sure.
Nice. Well, Miranda, I could sit here and talk to you all day, but the shows are usually about 30 minutes, and that's where we're at right now. Do you have any last parting words or anything you'd like to say to the audience?
I would just say, if you're out there looking for a change in your home, looking around your house and thinking like, I need to do something. I want to change it up. Don't be afraid to change it up. Color again, paint, flooring, huge changes, and not on a huge budget. I would just say, if you want to have an interior designer come in, you can call me or you can find one, but don't be afraid. Change your space up because this is your home. Your home is your castle, and it really should be what you want. It should make you happy and feel good. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like, just enjoy your space.
You're based in Medford. So what is your service region? How far away can people reach you?
I'm at the shore. I actually have 2 projects going on down the shore right now. I'm everywhere. I did a couple things in Philly. I did some stuff in New York City,
Okay.
but I pretty much go everywhere on the East Coast. Maybe an hour and a half to 2 hour limit. But
Okay, great. And
yeah,
what's the best place for them to connect with you? Is it by phone or email?
it would probably be by email. You can always ask or private message me on Instagram. I get a lot of work that way. I also get a lot of work through Facebook, but email's great too.
And what's that email address?
It's labella design LLC at gmail.com.
Awesome. All right, I'll make sure to spread the word.
Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much, Mike.
much for coming, and I know you're so busy, and to get your time, it's really an honor.
Thank you.
And it was awesome speaking with you today, and I bet the audience had a lot of great information from you.
Oh, good. So much for having me.
No problem. This has been another episode of the At Hungry Realtor podcast with me, Mike Severns at Hungry Realtor, and Miranda Forte. Please make sure to follow and subscribe to get the next episode. And that wraps up another episode of the Hungry Realtor podcast.